Hello, it's a slightly cool day today. As we go into April, um, a lot of things have been happening, and primarily the virus forcing everyone to stay inside, including us. But one of the good things about living here is that more or less you never really encounter people as you go for a walk. So, although we have self quarantined ourselves and this town doesn't have any cases yet, um, we're choosing to take precaution and stay at home. But occasionally I like to go for a walk because the sun is nice these days. And you would not believe it, but right now it is past 6:30 and the sunshine is amazing. It doesn't feel like 6:30. Generally we've had sunsets across all of the time, like from 12:30 to now, but it still kind of boggles my mind. At the same time, the interesting thing is that because of this kind of uh, changing time that the sun does set, uh, it also starts changing position. So back in December, the sun only showed up in the south, which is exactly behind me. And as it's starting to rise earlier, it's moving more eastward for the sunrise and west for the sunset, obviously. But and I mean at the end in June, it'll stop setting altogether and it'll just go from east to west, and then in the nighttime it'll just go from west to east over the horizon. And I find that really interesting. But we've also been having warmer temperatures, so I don't know if you can tell, but the roads are more icy and the snow is starting to melt and it's turned this kind of sad grey slushy color, and it's a little bit more risky to walk on this ice now than it used to be. So if I fall, you'll know what the sound was. But yeah, there's beautiful Lusovara in the distance, and these are pretty good days actually. So for the past couple days, we've had really beautiful skies after our sunset, and there have been very little clouds and the sky is nice and clean and the stars look gorgeous. But the best thing about past 3 nights, I guess, has been that every single night we've had auroras, and living between 65 and 75 degrees latitude means you're in the auroral oval, and that's basically the region where the magnetosphere just kind of channels the charged particles that are coming from the solar wind, and that is the sound of ice cracking underneath my feet. But so the magnetosphere of Earth, or the magnetic field specifically, takes the particles from the solar wind, the electrons and the protons, and it kind of pushes them down along the field lines, or rather, that's just how they behave. But as they go down, they come very close into the ionosphere, and specifically in these regions, the 65 to 75 latitude parts, the particles come so far down, about 100 kilometers off the ground, that they start interacting with the atmosphere, and their interactions with nitrogen and oxygen atoms create these beautiful northern lights and southern lights in the South Pole, known as the South Pole. like I said in a past video, during the winter months before Christmas, we most of the time didn't have clear skies. We just had a lot of clouds and a lot of foggy views. So it's nice that we get these wonderful skies now, and the season for auroras is pretty good. But I have realized that getting a sighting of the auroras, even living here, is kind of like getting to see a tiger in the tiger reserves. The probability is high, of course, but there's no guarantee that you'll see one. And it doesn't matter how many times you go or where you go, you either just get to see it or you don't. And I know people who have come here to see the auroras for a few days and they think it's a sure shot thing, especially in the winter, but because you would expect that the night getting longer and having darkness from 4 o'clock and 2 o'clock in the afternoon makes life easier because you have more night. But it's quite a thing of chance, and I feel really fortunate to have seen it many times as I have, partially due to the fact that I'm living here, but I attribute almost all of my sightings purely to luck. Like yesterday, we didn't even know there were going to be lights because the app that shows the KP indices was showing very low levels, so there was not a big chance of seeing anything. And I just happened to glance out the window, just checking, and I thought I saw something, because most of the times if it's a diffuse aurora, there's two types, but the diffuse aurora is just like a faint green glow in the sky. Sometimes it's hard to tell if your eyes are seeing things or if you can actually see diffuse aurora. And yesterday I just happened to think that I was seeing something, which I was, and I managed to come outside just in time, and we had a gorgeous lights show. So I feel super fortunate to be able to see that, but it's a total thing of chance, and it's really nice to see it. I will put up some pictures, but for now, this is Kiruna.